So right now I'm sitting on my very own Catapult. And so what this is a model that I built in Roblox Studio. And you may be asking yourself, well, anyone can make a catapult. It's pretty easy. But the difference is that this catapult is completely based off of Roblox physics. So if I go into the constraints view, you can see this whole thing is run by a couple hinge constraints, a spring, and some visual effects. And on top of that, I can drive it around. So let me go back in and show you real quick. Don't mind that I don't have pants on for some reason. My character model is not loading correctly. So you can see I can drive this around. I can load my ball and I can throw it at the wall and I can reload it, just drive it around. But you can see if I drive it around too much, the ball doesn't actually go into the arm. You can just throw it wherever and you can see the recoil because it's actually pushing the ball. It's not any fancy like vector forces or just like artificial animation using humanoids. This is all constraint based. And with that in mind, let's get started with this video. And in this video, I will be showing you the journey that I went through creating this. And this video will be structured very similarly to my ballista video. If you haven't seen that, make sure to check it out. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get started. So in the last video, I created a ballista. And since it's a siege weapon, I thought to myself, well, let's make some more. So I was thinking about, a catapult or a trebuchet, and I just decided making catapult. I'll probably make a trebuchet in the future, and correct me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I usually only see it written. I never really talk about it. But I went to this catapult, and I was like, okay, we're gonna do the same research, whatever, whatever. And when I was doing my research for the catapult, I realized that it's a lot easier to make than a ballista, so I probably should have made this first, but let's go down on what it will look like in game. So let's start. So a catapult basically works. You got a pivot point, and then you have your little arm right there, and then you have your little holding area for like the ball that will be launched with your catapult. And then in most like kids designs with like small homemade catapults, you have another little pole and it's connected to the arm via a spring of some kind. So usually it's like a rubber band. It just all it is to hold elasticity, and that works pretty well. But when I was testing this end game, I realized that it would be very hard to simulate like a little spring with like a rope instead, because in like a real ancient catapult they did not have like these type springs. They had like the ropes to like create tension, and that's what gave the ball, or rock I should say, boulder, so much force. So I looked up some other designs, and I figured out that the ancient Romans actually used a sort of scheme like a ballista used on like the very bottom to make tension. So basically this is like a top-down view. You would have, let me get another color. You'd have like, this would be one side of the rope, this would be another side of the rope, and they would like twist over the middle part, and this would be the arm from a top-down view. And when the arm would rotate, so this would be from a side view, you get like kind of thick, this would be the arm. When it would rotate, the ropes would like, get a little tension, and then when it reached the bottom, you would release it and it would get launched, far. So with this in mind, I went into Roblox Studio and started to demo the catapult. So after I was done with the demo for the catapult, I just started playing around with some visuals and I started to get to work on the actual build. And so after I was done with the building for my catapult, I got work to programming it, and it was quite simple because all I had to do was change the hinge constraint from a servo to none, and the spring up here would do all of the work, pulling the weight, and all I had to do was like actually spawn the thing. So here's my script, real quick. Let's collapse it so it's a little bit easier to see. We don't have to worry about any of these functions. They're all pretty self-explanatory. And I added the functionality for the projectile, the boulder, to explode when it hits something, but it kind of doesn't work that well, so I just got rid of it. It worked a lot better with the ballista, but basically what happens is whenever we touch a part, we just destroy the weld, and it somewhat works. It's just a cool, like, novelty thing, and coolest part is that you can drive it, so here's, like, the driving little script right here. And also, when you sit in the seat and you press the button F, the catapult will fire according to the script over here. So I just go back in. And the thing is the catapult's already preloaded when I get in, so just ignore that. And so you can shoot it and whatever. So now it's here. I press F, it loads back, waits a few seconds, creates the ball, and then shoots it. So let's go back into the script and just go over that real quick. So what happens in this fire function, we pull it back by setting it to a servo. We spawn the rock, and I'm using some Lowwow typecasting, which works sort of nicely. And it's kind of cool. This is just static typing in Lua. Super cool, you should check it out. But we wait a second after we spawn the rock, and then we yeet it with our actuator type, so it just like disables the hinge and it can just fly. And if there's an explosion, it'll just blow up. Let me just demonstrate that real quick. Set explosions to true. And load our catapult. Fire it, and then look at that, it explodes. And the actual handling of the catapult is really terrible. Like, very bad. The turning is horrible. Sometimes it doesn't even turn. It's kind of weird how it works. I don't really understand it either. But you can drive it, and it took me like a solid 5 minutes to make, so I will take that. But other than that, that's about it for this catapult. And that is about it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I will have a project download, model download, I should say, in the description in case you want to check this out for yourself. And while I was playing around with this, I I sort of thought that this could be a cool idea for something like Catapult Lacrosse. Like, I'm a big fan of the game called Rocket League, which is basically car soccer. It's a lot of fun. You should check it out. It's going free to play soon. And if I could make the same sort of concept with catapults, that could be super cool. So tell me what you think of that in the description. I thought it could be a pretty cool idea because, like, you can load the ball and then throw it, and then you can like run around with it. Obviously, you wouldn't have explosions, but like you can drive into stuff pretty easily. So if I can turn, there we go. Actually, you can turn. You can like run into this stuff and like push it around. It could be pretty cool, but that's just a thought. So make sure to comment your thoughts on that. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. And I hope you have a nice day. And goodbye.